Hi, it's Lee at ScreenCastsONLINE, and I thought I'd do a standalone video from our normal content just to take a brief look at macOS Tahoe and what I like about it so far on the developer beta. So you'll see I've got it running in a virtual machine on Parallels at the moment, which does have some benefits, especially when it comes to looking at differences side by side. So first of all, liquid glass, of course, which gives what I think is this lovely effect with the menu bar here as we move along. Everything has its own space. I love the round effect on the menu titles there. And I think these menus look good. And it's the same over here with any menu bar items here. Then of course we have Control Center, which has this nice glass-like effect. I know it's not to everyone's tastes, but I quite like it. In fact, we can see this pretty much side by side next to the current Control Center design on Sequoia. It's very different, an acquired taste, but one that I quite enjoy. Now we've got shades of the Vision Pro here with these circular and rounded icons up here. And then of course our widgets. These can be configured to have this nice glass-like effect over the top of your wallpaper. Coming down to the dock, some changes here too. So some icons have changed, including the Finder and the Mail ones here. But we can configure the appearance of these. So if I open up System Settings, then click on Appearance, you'll see we have a whole section for icon and widget style. So it's on default at the moment, but dark here changes both widgets and the dock to a dark style icon. So some of you would of course be used to this on iOS. Well, now it's on macOS as well. You can set it to switch to and from dark mode dependent on the time of day here. And then next to dark, you have it set to clear. And there are two styles of clear icons. We've got dark or light. And this light style of clear icons is gaining quite a lot of fans on the beta currently. However, again, it's not for everyone, but of course you can turn it off. It's not something that you're stuck with. Now you can change the base color of all folders as well now in Tahoe. If I come up and change the theme color, then the folders over here change to match the theme. And that's because under folder color here, you can see I've got it set to automatic, but I can click and switch between whatever colors I like for these. If you don't like the defaults, you can manually select your own color, of course. And then if you like the idea of tinting your icons and widgets, you can do that here. And changing this color will change the icons, the folders, and the widgets to this particular color tint. It's not for me, but it's definitely for quite a few people out there. Okay, if you don't like having the widgets changing color with everything else, you can stop this behavior. So here in Desktop and Dock, come down here where we have a widget section, and underneath widget style, we can switch between full color and monochrome. Or you can set it to automatically switch based on the appearance settings that we just saw. So appearance wise, I think the signs are promising so far. On to Spotlight, and the changes to Spotlight definitely came as a surprise to many of us. If I click on the icon up here, you'll see it does look a little different, and that's because rather than doing one Spotlight search that covers lots of different scopes, you can have 4 separate functions here. So we can search for applications specifically by clicking here or pressing Command and 1. We have files and folders, which would be Command and 2. We've got quick actions that we can execute from this button or by pressing Command and 3. And then finally, we have a clipboard history, which works better than I expected in testing. So let's see all of this working. I'll invoke with Command and space, and I'll start typing the name of an app. And you'll see it comes up with lots of options as normal here, split across the OS. So we've got the app, we've got a contact, a couple of reminders in there. Now, if I come back out, and this time press Command and 1 when Spotlight is launched, it's now only searching for apps, and that's all it's going to show. So as I search here, you can see just applications in the results. You can switch between a list view and a grid one. I prefer a list, to be honest. And some of them you can do a little bit more than just launch the app with. So here next to contacts, it says I can press tab and then it will search my contacts. You can see as you start typing, it filters them down. So you can do more than just launch apps from the app launcher, and I'm sure this is going to develop further over time, especially when more third-party apps are in here. Now, some of you may be saying, what about Launchpad? That's how I used to launch apps. Well, sadly, it's no more. If you click down here on this icon that looks a little like the Launchpad icon of old, it's merely a shortcut to the Spotlight app launcher. Okay, quick look at the file launcher now. So I'll press Command and 2. I'll start typing the name of a file, and you can see that it narrows it down and groups it into different categories at the top there. So if I click on Mail, it just shows email messages that the search pulls up. And if I come back, click on Folders this time, it just shows folders that I have. And we can limit to, say, music searches as well. We can have files that are best open with preview. I can certainly see a lot of scope for this being useful. Now, the quick actions, this is definitely something that has scope to improve, and it's actually pretty good as it is. I'm going to press Command and 3, and these let you run actions like these. You can assign a 2 or 3 letter hotkey to invoke them. You're not limited to 2 or 3 letters, but any more than that, and you're kind of losing the point of it, in my opinion. So let's see one in action. If I type mess here and then press return, I'm in the send message quick action. This means that I can type a message, pop in a recipient, and then if I press return here, it's going to send it without opening the messages app and risk me getting distracted by any more messages in there. Let's do another. So start timer here. I'll press return, enter in the duration, and the timer starts. Really quick to activate. Okay, let's come back in. And you'll see that now when I open the Quick Actions launcher, I've got a quick key assigned to Start Timer, which is ST. So now when I type that, Start Timer will appear at the top. I'll assign one here to Send Message. So this will be SM. And then Create Note here, I'll have that as CN. So if I type CN, I'll be able to type out the contents of a note and choose a folder to add it to without opening the Notes app. SM, now you can see, go straight to Send Message. This time I'll search for Calendar, and I'm going to assign a quick key to creating a new event. So this is CE for Create Event. And if I type that, I can add in the title of the appointment, the date and time that it starts, and then date and time of finish. And when I press return, that should be in my calendar. So let's have a look. I'll come down to the calendar. And there it is. So these quick actions are great for doing stuff on the fly without the need to open up the application they're referencing. I can't wait until there is more added to this. Okay, we can all rejoice because we now have a built-in clipboard manager on macOS, and it's actually working very well already. I've got a document at the top with sentences that are out of order, so we'll paste them into the below one. If I highlight this, then copy, I'll highlight this one here and just press Command and C this time, then Command and C on this one. So 3 items on my clipboard. I'll come down here and just change that font size there actually. And I'll open Spotlight, press Command and 4, and there are the 3 items that I copied with the newest at the top. You can use your arrow keys to run through them and press Return to Paste. Just open this up again. And as this builds up, you may need to search for items, which you can, then paste again on the result. And if I open it once more, I'll just show you that you can right click on these entries and you can paste from this menu. You can copy it again, which will put it back to the top of the list, or you can delete it. And you can also delete the whole history underneath this button here. But I'll just copy this, which should mean that because it's at the top of the clipboard history, it's the last item that's copied, I can press Command and V to paste. Okay, you're not restricted to text. So here in this folder, I've got an image file. If I copy this, come up to this document and bring up the clipboard history, I can see the image there, meaning that I can paste that in too. Now you can copy folders as well, which actually I wasn't expecting. I've got 3 here. And you can see that each one of them has content inside. Well, I'll individually copy these to the clipboard. And now if I come down here, open Clipboard History, my folders are here. I can paste them in. And you can see it is a direct copy. It's not broken because the file is still in there. Now let me just delete this, because this bit did surprise me. If I press Command and click all of these to put them in a kind of stack, then copy, If I come down here and open the clipboard history once more, I can paste them in as a stack. So clipboard history, I think, already seems pretty mature. Another Tahoe addition is the ability to automate shortcuts, which is going to be extremely useful. It's very easy to set up. So in shortcuts here, I've got a simple shortcut that if I open this up, what this is going to do is it's going to go through my reminders lists and find any that aren't complete and have no alarm set. It's going to get the names and it's going to create an email that just lists them out. Right now, I'd have to manually run this, but now I can set shortcuts to run this automatically for me. So if I close this, click on automation, then click on plus, we've got some automation options. So not just time of day, but you can have shortcuts run when you get an email from someone, when you connect to a specific Wi-Fi network, and more. There's lots of options here, but I'm just going to choose time of day, then click next. You can change the time here, so I'll just set it for a few minutes time. I need to change this to run immediately. I don't want to have to confirm it. And then you can also set it to repeat on a schedule, but I'll click next. And I just need to choose which shortcut I want to automate and then create. Right, we're done. Okay, I've just opened Mail on my host machine and we should see an email pop in there shortly. Okay, on the right, we just saw an email pop up and disappear there. That was it being generated. And now a new message has landed. If I click, there it is. So I think there are going to be some interesting developments with shortcut automations when people get their hands on them. And on the whole, I'm very positive about macOS Tahoe at this early stage. And I can't wait to dive into it more when the release is more stable.